She's checking on him constantly all of the time, whenever we hang out. I mean, if she doesn't trust him, does that necessarily mean that they should go ahead and tie the knot right now?
Trust. I must say though, I do like this conversation about trust. You know, I find it so fascinating when somebody says to you, hey, I don't want you to go out with that person because that person is wild and the way they behave, I don't like it and I'm afraid it's going to influence you. Here's the thing. In life, people have a choice who they want to be friends with, who they even want to be in a relationship with, right? Give or take. So, riddle me this. Why would someone be friends with someone if they know that this person is going to influence them in a bad way? That is a you problem. There is no such thing as I don't want you to be friends with someone. No, there is no such thing as it's not that I don't trust you, I just don't trust the person you're going out with. That doesn't make any sense. It's either you trust me or you don't trust me. Because if you trust me, then you know that I can't be influenced by nobody else. In fact, if you trust me and you know that I love you and I want to marry you, well, then you have no worries about who I spend my time with, because at the end of the day, how I feel about you isn't going to be influenced when you do anything stupid. But of course, if I was ever influenced to do something stupid, I could never put the blame on the person who influenced me. I would still have to take accountability, because at the end of the day, I'm the one that is chosen to be influenced by X, Y, Z. But in reality, was I really influenced, or did I really just want to, have a little bit of fun elsewhere because for whatever reason it could be? Trust. Trust, trust, trust. But hey, let's continue to see exactly what went down with Gabe and Isabel in this episode.
I'm trans, so I was like, born a girl. Whoa, what the?
You know, it's kind of wild. First and foremost, his friend is completely fine with him being trans, okay? Him transitioning from being a girl to a boy. You know, I do find it interesting though sometimes, what allows us to have fear to tell people something? Or what allows us to be cautious about being open about everything? Or things that are close to us? I guess maybe it's just trust is also another one's word, isn't it? Not knowing how someone's going to take to you, right? And I think, to be honest with you, I've grown to have this mentality and this attitude of like, at the end of the day, I'm not only going to worry about how someone else feels. If I've got something to say about me that may change their mind about me, I will tell them no matter what. Because at the end of the day, if they're ready to not accept me, well, I'll rather know now rather than build a relationship with that person and then for them later on to upset me. And I think that's the differences with telling someone a couple of months down the line or a couple of weeks down the line, once you've actually built a bond, a friendship, or whatever it could be, compared to telling them pretty much within the first week, shall I say. Because at least then you've saved yourself from building a bond with that person. Because at the end of the day, if they didn't say, oh, I don't like that, you're going to walk away upset. And to be honest with you, should you be upset with the fact that that person hasn't accepted you? Or should you be upset with the fact that you should have just told them ages ago and saved yourself being in this position? Obviously, luckily for Gabe, that wasn't the situation. But I'm just speaking generally. It's me personally. If I'm XYZ, I'm telling whoever's around me straight away. Wasting no time. Why bother? Why bother? Because if I don't do that and then I tell them further down the line, then that means I have basically groomed them. I basically manipulated them in a way where like I've waited for their emotions to attach to me first. That's not kind. That is not kind. You're playing with your emotions as well as theirs too. Either way, it is what it is. Continue.
Es tu opinión. Trey es demasiado mujeriego. Es muy perro.
So obviously we know that Isabel is not happy with Gabriel being friends with Trey. Okay. So obviously right now they're having a conversation. They're out, all three of them, until another friend actually appears as well of her own. At first when I saw this and I did the full reaction on Patreon, I didn't actually say at the time, but I thought this. But I guess I didn't fully complete my thought. But at first I was like, given the fact that Gabriel was born a woman, I thought to myself, sometimes, doesn't that mean that their communication maybe should be better? Or maybe, it's a bit of a sticky one. I'm still kind of processing it, but the point being is that just because Trey is a dog, it doesn't mean that your man is a dog. Because your man is here to be with you and he's here to marry you, right? And I don't like this whole idea of using someone else as an excuse to maybe, I don't know, express something else. You never really know what people's intentions are when they're speaking, right? At the end of the day, Isabel really has to get over this whole idea of the fact that, you know, that Trey's this and that, because at the end of the day, Trey is going to be Trey, but guess what? Trey is not your man. Gabriel is your man. Simple as 1, 2, 3. I had a point, but obviously that point completely went out the window, but I just baffled it, watched it in my mind, and I was like, no, that wasn't what I was going to say. And then, you know, when your mind goes blank. But yeah. But hey, let's continue.
Trey, because Isabel doesn't know that when we hang out, we actually come here, and she hates when I come here because she says that there's a lot of Americans and then we speak English together, and then she doesn't know, or I'm going to meet somebody else that speaks English, and then like...
You know, honestly, I will never understand people that get into relationships with people whilst having trust issues of their own. Key point. Trust issues of their own. Okay, because there's a difference with having trust issues because somebody has broken your trust compared to you having trust issues of your own. So she doesn't want him to be friends with Trey because Trey is a womanizer who's out here sleeping with women. And she's afraid that he's going to be a bad influence. She also doesn't want him and Trey to be going out to this location because this location has plenty of Americans. And she's afraid that he may move to someone who's American or... Listen, if Gabriel wanted someone American, he would have stayed in America and found a woman in frickin' America. He wouldn't be where he's at now and having a woman where he's at now, would he now? Can we make sense out of this, please? Like, goddamn, it's just a simple thing. Like, that's exactly what I would say. To be honest with you, I wouldn't really, I don't know what, to be honest, I think you'd be lucky if I even got to the stage of me even having to defend myself, because to be honest with you, the moment that somebody shows lack of trust in me, I'm gone. I have no care to really reassure someone's trust, to be honest with you, if I haven't done anything wrong. If you're going to be projecting your trust around me based on your past, that's a you problem. If you haven't got past that before you've met me, well then to be honest with you, you're not for me. And I say this because you see, I'm someone that has conquered a lot of things personally. And it's important that I surround myself with people, or I meet new people that have already done the same thing, you know, in a nutshell. Because one thing that I don't want to do in my life anymore that I've always done is carry someone else, look after someone else, you know. And when I say that, what I mean is someone that is still behind me with certain challenges. Because it's draining, man. It is draining. And that's what Isabel is showing here. She has her own insecurities of whatever's happened in her life before Gabriel existed, unless of course Gabriel has done things that has put in his position, but as of thus far, he hasn't done anything. It hasn't been documented. The only thing that's documented is that she's just got trust issues that she really needs to get over, because at the end of the day, if I'm Gabriel, I'm leaving. If I don't even know why he's even here with her, to be honest with you, because at the end of the day, why waste your time with someone that's going to be draining you all the time, complaining about, oh, this and that and this and that. Oh, goddamn, get over yourself. What happened to you? What happened to you happened to you, but guess what? You're here now with me. See, if you trust me, you don't. I ain't got time for this BS. Like I said before, ladies and gentlemen, please be careful. Please be careful about who you introduce in your life and who you are with, okay? Because at the end of the day, nobody deserves to be with someone that is going to drain them and drag them down because of their own insecurities, or because they are still trying to figure things out. If I've got things figured out, I want to be around someone who's got things figured out. I ain't helping nobody figure anything out. The only time I will help anyone figure anything out is if we are now on a journey where we are on the same path going forward and we got to figure out things together. You know what I'm saying? There's differences here. What's about with your boy? But anyway, continue.
The fact that Isabel doesn't trust Gabe shows her own insecurities and maybe relationships she's dealt with before. That has nothing to do with me.
Exactly. Has nothing to do with Trey, and also has nothing to do with Gabe. At all. But listen. The next task for Gabe is to now tell Isabel's family, or at least father, most importantly, that he is trans. He used to be a woman and he's now a man. Well, we better see how that went, eh?
Como es él o yo.
Ay, no sé. Yo no quiero a mi papá enojado conmigo.
Listen, boom. It's a simple question, right? And I say it's a simple question because at the end of the day, she has been asked, if your dad does not accept Gabe, are you still going to stay with him? Or are you going to be like, no, I got to choose my... Here's why I say it is a simple question. Because why the hell would you waste your time being in a relationship with someone if you're not then going to want, if you're then not going to defend being with that person? It's not even a question. I don't understand why people waste their time. We've got Rishi and flipping Jen in the same bloody blood club flipping situation. Then we've got, Osama with Deb. It's like, listen, I just don't understand the purposes behind any of these relationships for the most part. What is the point of being in a relationship with someone and then not knowing if, and when I say what is a point, I'm not talking about the person, okay, if I'm the person who knows that I've got a family that may not accept so-and-so because of so-and-so, right? Why would I then go out of my way to go and find someone or to be with someone who I know my family is likely to not accept? Why would I waste that person's time, waste their emotions to then, and then when it comes to it and I've got to now reveal it, what happens? Oh yeah, I've now got to make a decision. Why the hell have I not made that choice already? If I'm gonna set myself up to be with someone that my family is more likely to not accept, guess what? I'm gonna be ready to make sure that I'm gonna make sure that I'm ready to walk with my family. It's just that simple. Therefore, it's not a question. It's not a question. But if I'm now being asked this question somewhere down the line after my partner has flown all the way from another country to my country to live with me, and also she got kids too, and let's just say I had kids too, right? Okay, and all these things for me, and I can't even give them a straight answer of whether or not I'm going to defend them or not if my family doesn't accept them. Bruh. Now, of course, we can always talk about it on the flip side, but that's the problem. We always talk about it on the flip side. We're always talking about why did these people put themselves in these positions? Well, let's talk about it on this side instead. Why do people be with people who they know that the family may not accept? Make it make sense. You only do that if you're ready to rebel from your family if it comes to it. It's not rocket science. It's not a question. It's tiring. It's draining. It's pathetic. Sadly though, we don't actually find out this episode. Obviously, you know, he does go to the house. They have a whole meeting and all that kind of stuff. But then obviously it ends on a cliffhanger. So we won't really know exactly what Isabel's father will say. So I guess roll on Sunday, Monday, and obviously we'll find out exactly then and then what exactly went down. But until then, it is what it freaking is. I'm just saying it should never be a question, because why be in a relationship with someone if you're not gonna then rebel against your family to be with that person? We've seen it time and time again. Oh, Jesus Christ. To make it worse, we see it time and time again with adults. If we saw this with teenage relationships, I would understand. Okay, early, you know, or late teens, you know, like 16 and above, I would understand. Because we're all rebels as teenagers. If you wasn't a rebel as a teenager, then I don't know what the hell you was doing in your life. I have a story for you. Honestly do, man. I love the teenage years, man. The best years of my life, because I was a rebel. You know what I mean? Actually, I'm lying. It wasn't the best years of my life, but it was the best years of my childhood. Sometimes I was a rebel. yeah. Early 20s, XYZ. But anyway, nonetheless, though, the best years of my life are now, though. Anyway, let me know what you're thinking down below. Don't forget to like, sub, and of course,